Hi everyone, it's Kay from the Paper Shed. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for coming back and joining me again today. I'm back with week 2 of the Bugtopia and Entomology story, hosted by the lovely Mandy from Junk Journal Fix with SunflowersAndDors and Suzanne from Nonstop Papercrafts. So I hope you'll go across and view theirs as well. We've had some fantastic engagement on the group, on both groups, and some of the makes have been absolutely stunning. I've loved it. Week 2 freebie, unfortunately, I cut up before I did the video. I normally show you beforehand, but I completely forgot. So we're just going to crack in and get on with it today. It's the prompt this week is altered bottle caps or buttons. And if you've watched Mandy or Suzanne's video, you will see their freebies for this week. I'm using Mandy's freebie, which is the round circles with the bottle caps. And we're going to be doing a notebook of some sort with buttons. So, yeah, it sounds weird, I know. I have started it. I started using these. These are the little wooden buttons that are, and I've got really no use for them. I had them from Temu. I thought it was something that I would use, and it's not something that I would use. And I did actually paint them initially white, but to be honest, there was no need for me to do that. It didn't warrant it in the end. So I've made as much as I can in advance, just for the video purposes, really. But I have so enjoyed this. This kit is absolutely, and Suzanne's kit. Suzanne's kit matches Mandy's kit absolutely superbly, and I thoroughly enjoyed last week making these cards. I just loved it. So these are my field guide cards, and I just absolutely love them. And unfortunately, because I'm going back to the UK very soon, which I'm so excited about. And I won't be back until August. So what I thought I'd do is I was thinking of revisiting these kits, sort of when I get back in August, and doing a full altered book journal. That's what I'm thinking, because the kits, they're just too gorgeous not to work with, and I really want to have more of a play. So anyway, we'll get on. We'll digress. Leave me a comment if it's something that you think that you might like to see on video, because I'm quite happy to do a video of it when I come back, but it won't be obviously until August. So these bits here are bits that I cut out from last week. It's just such a shame that I just can't have a proper play. I'm just so busy at the moment, and I just haven't got the time. But I really did want to do the prompts for the group. So I've sorted out several different buttons that you can use. Now you can use whatever you want. You can even just use the kit, the freebie that comes with this week, and just cut these out and make them into buttons. You don't need to have proper buttons if you don't have them. But if you do, you can use sort of semi-flat buttons. You could use these ones and cut those out to go in the middle of there. You can use flat ones and just glue them on, and leave a nice little border around, which I think is quite cute. You can even go small, and if you've got something that's small enough to go in, like you could use one of these, for instance, and just cut the circle out to fit into the smaller buttons. But if you don't have those, then just use the paper ones and make them into your own buttons. And the only way that you can do that is just cut several of the circles out, put the image that you want on top of your button, glue them together to make a thicker button shape, and then put 2 holes in or 4 holes in, however you want to do it, and they will become your buttons. So there's several different ways of how to do this. I'm going to be making like a sort of reference button notebook, if you like, for today. So I'm just going to get on with it. So I'm not going to be using the bottle caps. I just don't need to. But these will fit inside the middle of there if you want to make the bottle cap type. So there's plenty of ways to use the kit. All of these little bits come with it, so we're going to use those to decorate. I have got some little bits that I can probably use from last week. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get on. So I'm going to stick with using my white button because I've used all the others. These ones are really good to use as well. If you've got any of these, now I only really needed them for odd bits, if you like. And you can just glue the image onto the top of there. And yeah, so whatever buttons you have, if you don't have, just make paper ones. That would be perfectly fine. I like these ones because they come in different sizes, and I thought that would have made a better option, especially for what I want to do. So we're going to start with the button. So I've just got this button, which is one of these. You don't really need to paint them. I painted them thinking that it might show through, but it doesn't. So there is really no need. I'm going to continue with this white one though, because all my others have got a white background. So, and all I'm going to do first is I'm just going to glue my chosen image on the top of my button, and I'm going to do the ladybird. So I'm just going to glue that on the top, level it up. Doesn't really matter where your holes are, but if you do want your bugs or your images to be upright, then just pop it on wherever it is that you need it, and then just let that dry. So how is everybody? I hope you're all doing well. I've seen some amazing makes on the group, and you know, you're all joining in, and that's fantastic. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Well, actually, it's dry enough. What I'm going to do next is, because my 1-inch punch is slightly bigger than my button, I'm just going to sandpaper my edge down all the way around. Okay. Just give a bit of a mess, and then I'm going to ink it. And it does take ink really well once you've sandpapered it. So I'm just going to get rid of any white that I've got on the edge of my button as well, just in case you do need to paint your buttons, but I doubt it. You probably don't need to paint them. I just did it just in case, and I didn't need to in the end. Then we're going to just find out where the holes are and just poke. Now, if you need to poke from the back to find your holes, just make sure that you go through on the front to close any paper that's come this way. It just makes it look a bit nicer. And I'm just going to ink my holes there. And then what I did with the first one that I made is I sewed them onto the card, because all I'm doing is making a button card at the moment. I sewed them onto the card, but for the purposes of video, I've actually done this the other way. So because you can glue these onto the card rather than sew them if you don't want to sew. So we're just going to get the thread through there and through this one. And then I'm just going to tie a knot and cut that off, so that's all ready to go. And the only reason I left it on the top is because I didn't want the lumps to be on the back of the buttons because of the button card. So I'm just literally just going to cut that off. And then I have all of my 6 buttons for my button card here. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to make the card that we want. Now I'm just using scrap, so I was thinking of making it slightly bigger this time. And this is 8 1/4, so I just need to score in the middle. Now, if you just fold it in half if you don't want to, because I never get that right. I don't know why I don't either. I'll put it with the trimmer. That's my front actually. This craft card's got a front and a back. I'll just put that down at 8. This particular one is 8 by 6, thereabouts. So this is going to become my booklet. So I need a card to sit on the top of there. So I've got some scraps and, oh, that's actually not too bad. I sort of want it to be, I want a border around it, even though you're not going to be able to tell. So I just get a pencil and I'm just going to take that off there. I might need to put that down again in just a sec. So what I want to do is I want to make this look like a sort of ripped out notebook. But I want to cover that first. So I want to put a ripped edge on it. Now, it doesn't matter really which edge comes first. You're not going to see most of it. It's just a sort of added extra interest piece, I suppose. So I'm just going to take that off there. And I'm going to add that down there. Don't suppose it needs to go all the way. Anyway, we'll just get that on. I just need to ink that edge. But you're probably not going to see it anyway. But we'll do it just in case. I've filled my bottle up, so my glue should be fine today. Let's hope. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue down there, squidge it around a bit. And then I'll just add it where it needs to at the front. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is just cut from the back any excess that we don't want on there. Okay. I'm just going to take those up. Now I do want another bit on here, so I'll do that while that's drying because I need to punch holes in it. It's just really for a bit of extra interest on the cover. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this one, let that one dry, is I'm going to just do some hole punches. Now this is a 6 hole punch, and I'm just going to pop that on the edge there. Oh, I do find this hard to do. There we go. And then it's when it's not dry. And make sure that's all the way in and in line. There we go. Same with that one, just till the end. Okay. So I've got some hole punches there. So I'm just now going to just cut up those like it's been taken out of a book. Okay. And then I'm just going to rip the odd one and sort of scrunch up some of them and rip the odd one out. Don't sort of want to do it in a methodical way. There we go. I've just taken some out. I just need to ink those lines. You can sort of bend them as you're doing it. I just wanted like a different look to the opening of the book. Okay, I love that. So that's pretty cool. And then this is going to sit on here, and this is why I said I'm not sure whether we need to cut this down yet, which I think we do. It's a shame that we're going to cover this up. But I liked the idea of actually having the card on its own. I mean, we could cut it maybe, we could rip it, because it's wide enough to take it, I think. So let's just rip that and see what that gives us. If we pop that there, yeah, because then we can see that ripped edge as well. So I think we'll go with that. Okay. So what we need to do is decorate this card up now. This card is going to hold our buttons, and our buttons are going to go on however you want them to go on, basically. What I wanted to try and do, though, is sort of give it a bit more room between the buttons so that we could put a little bit of extra embellishment on. So I'm sort of, I've got a space up here, and I've got a bit of space down here, and then space in the middle. So I'm going to do a background, and I think, okay, so I've sorted some background stamps out. I'm going to use this word one just to give it a bit of, now you're not going to see that one, so we're just going to be working on this one. So I just want to give it a bit of a background. It doesn't have to be complete. That will do. Up here, I'm going to have field notes, but I don't want to stick those on until my buttons are on. But I've got to do the stamping before I put the buttons on, because otherwise it's not going to, it won't work properly. So I'm just going to get my sand dune, because I just want to put a little bit of texture around the edge here as well. I'm going to do it on here just to give it some texture. I love this sand dune on craft card. It just works so well. So that's that one. And then yeah, field note is going to go about here. So I sort of want to do some odd stamps here and there. So I'm going to put those there. I'm going to put number 509 up here. Department. I think we'll pop that. I'm sticking to the edge because I've got to put the buttons, and I want some other bits on as well. Some of these. So I'm just randomly doing it, to be honest. There we go. We can probably work with that for now. Let's just say. So I think I'm going to put my buttons on next, which means I'm going to glue them on. Now, as I said, the first time I did it, I actually sewed them onto the card. But I think because they're the wooden ones, we can actually do this and glue them. So that's the right way up. So I just want that one here. Actually, do I want it a bit further up? So I just want to get all 6 buttons onto my button card. So that's going to need to be left to dry. Yeah, I think I might want a little bit of text here and here, just so that when that's on, there's a continuation of it. So I think we'll just decorate the inside quickly before we do that. So I'm just going to ink just on the inside. So we've got our front, but that's going to need gluing on in a sec. So I'm just going to do some stamping on this inside. I just want sort of to add a few bits and pieces, but I think it needs background. But I'm thinking that it might need this one. I wonder if I can use this one. Just to give it a bit of a sort of checkered background. I'm just doing it random. Now you could cover this, you could put pockets inside, really. Yeah, that's enough. I would think that's enough. So you could actually put pockets inside or wherever you want to, really. I'm going to just ink some of these Entomology stamps that I have. It's not necessary to do this stamping, really. It's just the look that I wanted to go for. But you could put pockets in here to put things in. It's entirely up to you. Just thought I'd do a little bit of decorating. I haven't inked on the back either. I'll just get that done with whatever's left on the dobber. And then I think we'll finish this off. I think those are glued now. So I'm just going to pop this on the top. Now this one's not very big. Could have gone with something a bit bigger, but I wanted to use what was there. So what I'm going to do is, this is sort of like a fly. I'm sort of going to make a collage with the buttons. We haven't got butterfly, but I think we'll put it here. And then we've got a moth. And I think we'll probably pop that one here. I've got some words. Order preserved. Now these need inking, and they also need identification tag. Now they don't all have to go up the same way, and some of them will go behind some of the buttons. That's unidentified. He hasn't got anything on, so I think I'll pop him there. Species. Stick on the end. And then habitat. So I'm going to ink those and get those stuck on. Okay, so that's done. I quite like the look of that. I think that makes a lovely notebook cover. And that will go on there like that. So I think we're ready to pop that in, or pop that on. I think I want some boo-boo tape, but I'll wait until I put it on, I think. But first I think we need to pop in the papers that we need. So we're just going to put the papers in. We're just going to trim down the edge there. That'll give us 2 pieces, or enough for the booklet. Okay, let's just check that it doesn't need a trim anywhere, and it probably does on the end. And then that should fit perfectly then in there. I like it. Yes, I'm just going to get that sewn in with just a normal 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm just going to cut those off, but you could leave that on to pop a dangle on there if you wanted to. Put that piece. Okay, I'm just going to give that a quick burnish, just so that it lies a little bit flat. Okay, I'll pop my needle away. And then we're just going to come and glue this on the top here. Yeah. Like that. Come on, Mr. Glue. Okay. And then just get that over as far as you want it, in line with the rest, and give that a good burnish down through the middle. And then I think we'll just finish that off with a little bit of boo-boo tape. That will do. I think what we'll do is we'll stick it here, where that lip is in the book. Just go around that. Squish that down and then just take a bit of the shine off. Perfect. Loving that. And there you've got a button Entomology field note book, which I think is rather cool. What do you think? I actually quite like it. I think we need some splatter though, do you? I'm really loving the splatter at the minute, that I've even made a splatter pot. So I made some splatter pots up and I've just dropped them off the shelf. Should we do white? Or we could do a bit of both. So we'll go white first. So we just want a little bit of this. Just coat my brush a little bit. And then see. I'm not bothered if it goes on my buttons, to be honest. I just want the pieces to match. That's enough of that one. And then I don't mind putting the white in there, but if it does bother you, just wipe your brush off. If you go white first, then it's not as bad as putting the black in. This might be still a little bit thick actually, the splatter, but we'll see. Oh no, it's quite nice. Like that. All right. So now I just need to get one up there. I'll just clean my brush. So this is what we've got. I love it. I love the way it's come out. It matches my my pieces from last week, which are these. And this was the little one, which was my prototype, which I think is really cute. So I've made a blue and a neutral, the same as that I did with the tickets. So I did blue and neutral with the tickets. What tickets? I don't know what they're called. Tags, reference guide. I love the way this come out. And I quite like the way that these have come out as well. So I've really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. Thanks so much for coming in and joining me. And I'll be back in week 3 with next week's prompt. So I wonder what that's going to be. Enjoy your week, ladies, and I will see you then. Bye for now.